Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream, the Knuckle Sandwich live stream. We're going to be starting doing these more often. This is how we're going to be doing most of our fighter interviews now. And tonight we have a very special guest, one of the most my wife, of course. But the fighter guest is one of the most dominant welterweights and previously middleweights that I've seen in a long time, Rashad Lockhart, coming out of Nashville MMA. We're going to be sitting down with him in just a few minutes. We're also going to be talking about some UFC stuff. John Jones has just announced his return. We're going to see where we're at with that. Charles Oliveira is coming back and multiple other things, especially UFC Denver this weekend. But first, if you've watched our episodes before, then you know that one of my favorite things that we've ever done is the Guess the Fighter. And I wish I had Lawton sent you the video where Haley just says Cheeto 97 times in a row, trying to get Marlon Vera's name correctly. But we're going to show my wife, Haley, 3 different fighters. She does have a list. I gave her a little cheat sheet. It's 20 different UFC fighters. She has no idea necessarily who they are. Well, she knows some of them. But there's no specific weight class. It's just a mix of names. So, you ready? Guess the fighter. All right. Lawton, go ahead and throw up that first fighter here. Can you see who that is? It's probably going to pull up on the TV here in just a second as well, too. But you can look there and then look at your list. There you go. All right. So again, you can describe him as you go, as you look at him, as you think. Okay. We've watched him fight. He's trained with a guy that I've interviewed before. Uh-oh. Your audio is not coming through. Speak louder.
Okay.
Louder.
Okay.
Yell.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it?
You're right. It's Jeff Neal, but yeah, not Geoff. But it's Jeff Neal. 1 for 1. I didn't expect you to get that one at all, to be completely honest. Looks like a Jeff. All right. 1 for 1. Can we go 2 for 2? Go ahead and throw up the next one, Lawton. Oh, this one's going to be tough for you. You can speak loud so that people can hear what you got to say. It's not Giga Chickadee. It is Bilal Muhammad fighting Leon Edwards this month for the belt. I knew that one would throw you up.
Yeah, he looks really terrifying.
Yeah, he was pretty scared. One more. We're 1 for 2. Let's try to get 2 for 3 real quick.
Okay.
Last one.
Hi,
Coming up on the screen now. We've watched this guy fight many times.
Is it like?
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. No, it is Kevin Holland. You were right there. You were right there. It was too obvious. 1 for 3 is not that bad. That was great. Thank you so much.
I'll stop.
Let me steal that AirPod back from you. All right, peace out. All right, now that the mood is nice and light, let's bring on the fighter, Rashad Lockhart. Rashad, are you there? You can hear me, right? I'm good. Audio's good?
Yeah, I can hear you well, man.
What's up, bro? Nice to see you again. I haven't seen you since December. We've been up to the gym a few times. I probably saw you in passing, but really since December.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did that interview shortly after that. Who was I fighting that night? Was it Elliot Kim, maybe?
No, it was Cowabunga dude.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
Captain Cowabunga. I've got the video a lot. You want to pull up that December fight video real quick? We'll watch the fight. We'll remember the name from that.
No, we don't have to. I feel so bad.
We've got it.
Hendrix,
Kevin Hendrix. There it is. Fast forward up to like 120 where the fight starts, if you will. Because I wanted to watch this. Look, I remember watching this fight live, and I'm like, dude, first off, the iron chin taking that, but that body kick there, and then you threw this crazy front kick, right, boom, and then just check left hook, drops the dude. And I was like, man, this dude's a bad mamma jamma. You are like massive, Rashad, in the lightest of words. You're massive for the 170 division, bro. And now you are the Aries welterweight champion as well. How's it feel having the belt? How you feeling in the new weight class and all that?
Well, actually, I didn't get to go home with the belt because I missed weight. So, I had to I was going to vacate it anyway.
Okay.
But it still sucks to show up in what I would consider unprofessional. Especially that being that was my 14th time out stepping in to fight somebody as far as like combat sports and never having missed weight to do that and then miss weight just kind of let myself down a little bit. But I'm not one to beat myself up. I learned my lesson and I learned it immediately. So
what'd you weigh in at that night or the night before?
I think I weighed in 176, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang. What do you walk around at?
I walk around 90, 95 at most, but I'm getting to this. I got this new nutrition plan, so I'm trying to change that from 90 to 95 to 85 to 90, just to make the cuts easier.
Bro. Yeah.
Of course, things come into play when it comes to cutting weight, but they don't necessarily count as an excuse when there's.
Sure. Yeah.
But I appreciate them for taking that fight, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And you were scheduled to fight for the belt prior to that, right? And then I think your opponent had fell out or something along those lines.
Yeah, I had two guys, I believe, that were like set in stone to fight that ended up backing out. So I was hoping that would work out. Those will work out because the prospects of the people I will be fighting for that fight were just a little more. I don't know. I felt they took it a little more serious. So I was hoping that I could get a more trying challenge with either of the two guys, but they ended up not being able to take the fight for whatever reason, personal to their own. So, just on to the next, kind of roll with the punches.
Fair enough. Well, like you said, you can't really discredit the performance that you had, Lawton, if you will. I've got the your last fight pulled up, link ready, just to watch. Because it was only 9 seconds, so it's like we can just take 9 seconds out of the interview and watch this fight real quick.
I think that works.
Yeah, that one. This is the only one that I could find of it. But look, I mean, man, you are. So what did you weigh on fight day?
You know what? I got up to 85, 86.
Sheesh. Like I said, just a monster, massive human trying to fight at 175, 170. Dude, I mean, you're a wrecking ball, absolute wrecking ball. And I was looking at your Tapology the other day, dude. Like your last 3 fights altogether don't even or barely even make one full round, right?
Yeah, they've been pretty quick.
Nuts, bro. Yeah, that's nuts, bro. So what's Nashville MMA been like for you training there? Because obviously you've turned into this machine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the biggest benefit is I think having a transparent coach, one who cares about you enough to tell you what you need to work on, even when you're doing good, and just the teammates that push you And if they're not willing to push you verbally or check on you or like pick you up, then, they'll push you in the middle of the rounds or in the middle of class. So you don't really have a choice but to kind of keep up sometimes, or you'll just be sucking it all the time. And that's a benefit that I personally need when it comes to my training, because I like to give it back. And then when the energy is kind of reciprocated, you're there with like-minded people, it makes it easier to get the job done. And you generally just care a little more, about the work and the outcomes. So, and great coaching staff. And yeah, man, I've been in some crappy gyms, and I tell you, I would have killed for this one at the beginning of my combat sports career.
I mean, I can't imagine what it would have been like for you if you did have that. Just because, I mean, to see where you are now versus, I don't even know who you were before, but to see where you are now, I can't even imagine where you would be if you were at Nashville MMA this whole entire time. You talked about like your team and coaches, man. Who's your normal training partners? Because we've talked to a lot of guys up there, obviously like Stewie, Zach Hicks, Bryce Warner. Obviously, some of those guys are a little smaller than you, but who's the normal training partners for you? Who's the guys that push you on the normal day?
That would be Finn Martin, Andrew Stewart, Kane. I forget Kane's last name. No, Kane is his
Nate Kane. Nate Kane.
Yeah, Nate Kane. Nate Kane. Just the guys that kind of match me in terms of size for the most part, give me a realistic look of the resistance that'll be needed. But on top of that, I get some of my best sparring rounds in with some of the smaller guys too. Zach's always a good one. He'll keep your eyes open on the level change in the boxing. Pat, he's just relentless with the pace. Patrick Crumpton, and Dedrick, that's like one of my closest friends. And so he just knows my fighting style so well that it's like, if I don't got my P's and Q's on me, I'll be really risking myself, because he don't punch light, to put it lightly.
For real. Yeah. And so like you just said some of those names, Zach Hicks and Dedrick. Both those guys fighting at the PFL fight coming up at August 2nd. You going to be at the PFL event in Nashville?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't miss that for the world.
So you said earlier that you were vacating the belt, right? Like if you still had it, you were going to vacate it. Are you planning on going pro? Because we had talked before a little while, and you're like, man, after this title fight, I'm thinking about it. Is that the plan now?
Yeah, that's still the plan. Yeah, that was my last amateur fight, just because I feel like it's time. I'm 27, so it's like, I'm 27, and you spend a lot of your amateur career gaining experience. And between boxing, kickboxing, and MMA, I've had 14 outings now. So I think it's well within my time and earned, as far as paying my dues to each sport respectfully, to just go ahead and go pro, start getting paid for it, and getting a little goal oriented as far as providing for myself via my martial arts alone. So
heck yeah, man. You got any inside news you want to drop live right now about going pro? You got any fights lined up? Any talks at all?
Nah, man, I ain't got no time. I ain't got no time. Honestly, since my last fight, I've just been trying to be a uke for these guys, because Andrew and Finn fight on Saturday. Dedrick's fighting, and we got other guys on the teams fighting. So I just wanted to make sure I got back in there, just to make sure they had bodies, to do work with, because they show out for me when it's in my camp. They're always there for me. So I like to give it back. It keeps us.
Heck yeah, man. Love it. So I want to transition into these hot topics that we got going on. Man, there's 4 things that I want to talk about. Really 5, I guess. But number 1, let me just tell you how this is going to work. I'm getting ahead of myself here, Rashad. So hot topics, what we're going to do is we're each going to have 1 minute to kind of discuss what we want to discuss about each topic. We can turn this into a debate. If we don't see eye to eye, I mean, we can go as long as we need to, Rashad. That's fine with me. I've got my points ready to go for most of these things. So, but let's start out with John Jones. Are you a John Jones fan, Rashad?
I am. Yeah, I like John Jones a lot.
Man. See, this is where we're going to debate already. I can feel it. So John Jones just said that November 9th at MSG, he is fighting Stipe Miocic. We've got the Instagram link ready, I believe, Lawton, if you've got it. Just to show that post real quick. Yeah. So there it is. He said the red corner of my office, # November 9th. he had come out, I think, on a podcast and was like, yeah, it's time. John Jones is arguably the best pound for pound ever. So, Rashad, I'm going to give you a minute, and I want you to kind of tell me a little bit on your thoughts of the comeback and the prediction for this fight versus Stipe.
Ooh, okay. Did my
Ready?
minute start? Yeah.
The minute starts now. Here you go.
Just I don't know. I would personally feel foolish doing anything to count John Jones out in a martial arts setting in any form of facet. And I feel like we still really haven't got to see much of him as far as fighting at the weight he's at now, because his last fight was so quick. But I believe in him. I think that's where most of like my faith in him winning comes from. I just believe in him, like the mysticism of it. But also Stipe is a dog, and his hands are crisp. And I don't know, man. It's one I'm excited to see. But if I was a betting man, I would go with John Jones. But that's just off preference,
I like it. You should. All right. Yeah, I think is my timer starting yet, Lawton? All right, minute has started. I don't like John Jones as a person. Obviously, John Jones is the best pound for pound fighter. You can't take that away from him. And I think this fight with Stipe makes sense whenever it comes to GOAT status, right? If you beat the best heavyweight of all time, there's no doubt about it. But I feel like there's better fights out there. Alex Pereira is now one of these guys that he's like, I want to go to heavyweight. He's a double champ, all these kind of things. It's still early, but he shows signs of like early John Jones. You've got Tom Aspinall that's been on this tear, came back from the ACL tear, and now he's the interim champ. I feel like the waiting that they've been doing has really put a stall on the heavyweight division that now is at the peak that it's been in a really long time, really since like the Randy Couture, Brock Lesnar days. So I think, obviously this fight makes sense for his GOAT status. My prediction, though, John Jones. I have to. Man, I came ready. I'm telling you, Rashad, I came ready.
Hey,
the hottest.
That's funny. Yeah, man. I mean, so you said you think John's going to win, right?
Yeah, John's going to win for sure. I think Stipe, watching his last couple fights whenever he fought Cormier, was it Cormier the last time? Did he beat Cormier? I think he lost to Cormier the last. I don't remember. But then he got knocked out by Ngannou, and it was just vicious, bro. He just doesn't look the same anymore. I think if Stipe and John would have met at a different time, it would be different. But now I think John wins the fight pretty easily, especially with the way that he beat Cyril.
Yeah, I agree, especially with it like being something that's imminent, right? It's happening in November, so it's not hypothetical anymore. So you can't think like John at his peak versus Stipe at his peak. It's like, well, no, man, it's John now versus Stipe now.
Yeah.
And on the realism side of it, I would say John for sure. Taking nothing away from Stipe, I love him to death, but it just is what it is.
Fair enough. The Broken Toe Saga, Rashad. For this one, we're bringing it back to UFC 303 a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Conor McGregor pulls out of UFC 303 with the broken toe. We have the picture of the broken toe as well. I mean, it was pretty nasty, I guess, but I've seen people fight through worse, right? And so his big thing was, I want to be at my fullest, this, that, the other, whatever. The real part that I want to talk about, though, is Alex Pereira accepting the fight with a broken toe and then going out there and doing what he does against Yuri Prochazka. So the real question is now, what does this do for his pound-for-pound ranking? And I'll start this one off because I saw the minute timer was just up for a brief second. I'm ready to go. Alex Pereira, obviously, like I said earlier, is one of like these he's a company man at this point, right? Like they can call on him at any time. He's going to save the day. Save the day at UFC 300. Save the day at UFC 303. And he's a people's person too. He barely even speaks a lick of English, but people love him. He looks like the stone little thing, whatever, the statue. But man, the guy can fight, obviously, from coming from the Glory kickboxing days and doing what he's done in the UFC already. I believe right now he's ranked number 2 pound for pound, and I think that's really fair, especially talking about, the activity level of John Jones. Islam is above him. I understand that, and I agree with that. But man, Alex Pereira, I think he could absolutely be one of the very first, actually the first 3-time champ, 3-division champ It just depends on who's going to be holding that heavyweight belt when he gets there. But Alex Pereira, I think he's really close to being the number one pound for pound.
Sorry.
I'm using my whole minute every time.
Started lagging. Hey, man, I know not to argue with anybody who's done homework.
There you go.
Negative. Is it my turn for the minute?
You're right.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think in regards to Alex fighting with a broken toe, and Connor calling out because of a broken toe, I think it's just a difference of mindset, honestly. Even though they probably, in terms of their mental game, probably are more similar than they are dissimilar, I'd still say that Alex, I don't know, he just got that. He just wants to fight. I know I can tell when just by the way he fights, putting on a show isn't necessarily important with him. It's like he's fine fighting a slow fight. He'll walk you down. If you run away, he's not going to chase you. He'll just slowly cut off the ring, and there's no urgency to be like a star in that moment. So he just wants to fight. He wants to get in there. He wants to fight. He wants to win, and keep it simple. But if you want to show who you are and be flashy, as Connor tends to do when he fights, you're gonna need all 10 toes. In my opinion.
I mean, Alex Pereira barely even needs a second to wipe off a kick to the nuts. So, I mean, I think he's got the dog in him more than anybody else right now on the UFC roster, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more, man. That was amazing to watch. It's like a comic book. I was like, dang, he's going.
Yeah, superhero, just boom. And then, it was great. Charles Oliveira is back. His coach has said that, he should be back at the end of this year, and that they really want Islam Makhachev next. I think we have an Instagram post showing that. I think it may be a video. If we want to watch it, we can. We got that, Lawton? Got that one?
Yes, we do.
Boom. And click that little right arrow. I think it is a video. Will the audio come through?
To the stream, yeah, not to you guys.
É a minha ideia, né, que eu gostaria, né, mas agora nós temos que esperar eles, né, também virem com o que eles pensam pro Charles. Eles gostam muito do Charles, eles querem o melhor pro Charles, e com certeza eu deixei claro nossa ideia de voltar pro caminho do cinturão. Tanto eu como o Charles, a gente quer o cinturão. Agora com o Arnold suspenso, não teria outro nome a não ser Charles Oliveira. O Charles é o segundo do ranking, e se você olhar para dentro do ranking, não tem ninguém para estar lutando com o Makhachev. Poirier acabou de lutar, Gate tá vindo do nocautaço. Então a verdade é que o Arman fora do jogo, eu acredito que não tem ninguém no 155 para lutar com uma Makhachev a não ser o Charles. Então, com certeza, é o que a gente quer, é o que o Charles quer. E, claro, não depende de nós, é uma empresa chamada UFC e existe um adversário chamado Makhachev, né? Então, que da nossa parte é o que a gente quer.
Bom, então vocês querem o Islam
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We can cut that off. So, the big thing for this is Rashad. I'll let you start out again. You got this. Who should Charles Oliveira fight in his comeback fight?
Your 1 minute.
You got a minute.
Now.
I got you. I don't know, man. I would say Islam just because he wants it, and I would love to see that fight personally, just because the way their styles match up. I feel like, I don't know. You tell me if you disagree eventually, but I feel like Charles probably has the striking hand on him, and Islam's just relentless. Also with the grappling, I would love to just see that play out. They'd be watching like, I don't know, just like master grapplers at their game. I would want to see that personally. As far as who he should fight for his like career betterment, I mean, aim high, bro. Islam, he's up at the top. I would be like, yeah, I'm trying to fight him too, and especially with his coach confidently saying that there is no one else available. I'm sure he wouldn't go over Charles' head and say that if it weren't true. I'm sure they agree on that front. So I'll just say give him the Islam fight.
Yeah, that's fair. You ready?
Very nice.
Yes, sir.
Your 1 minute, Brandon, is starting right now.
All right, so my big thing with Charles is he's a fan favorite fighter. He's really good. He's ran through a lot of the guys in the division when he was a champion. And his coach is right. There's not really many other people. I'm looking at the rankings right now. I've got this pulled up. I've done my homework, Rashad. Arman, again, suspended for 9 months. He had a point with Gaethje with Poirier. Gamrot's next after that. I don't really want him to fight for the belt. But what I did like was Alexander Volkanovski said that he would like to fight Charles Oliveira. I think that would be an even better fight than Oliveira and Islam. And what I would like is Islam to honestly fight the winner of Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. If Leon wins, who else is there other than Shavkat, right? Really, I mean, Jack Della Maddalena as well. But for his career's sake, for his GOAT status, he would need to fight Islam. I think that's the biggest fight for him to make. So I think really lightweight's getting to this point where there's a standstill. Islam needs to go to welterweight. Charles fights Volkanovski.
Finished on the dot. Very nice.
Every time.
I
heard you say, ooh, when I said that. You like the Volkanovski Oliveira fight.
I do like that, man. I also would do anything at any given moment to see Volkanovski fight. So that's that's just out there. but that's crazy, man. I didn't think about that, especially what you saying, Islam moving up a weight class. I didn't think that'd be in the cards for him personally.
Like, there's been a lot of talks about it prior because he's always said he wants the double champ, and I think Edwards, like, that's the only big fight for him now to do after Bilal Muhammad, and so it's like, what else is there to do? I don't know, but I agree with you with the Volkanovski. Always want to watch him fight. The other day I was at work and Man Down Under came on the radio, and I was just like, it brings back all the memories, and I'm like, come on now, get him back in there,
please. I'm down to see him fight again.
So up next, UFC Denver this weekend, the main event, Rose Namajunas facing Tracy Cortez. Originally, it was Macy Barber. She had to pull out. I mean, the big question is who's going to win this fight, and I'll go first. I feel like I've let you go first every time. It's my time to steal the show here. So give me that minute clock. I'm ready to go.
The minute starts right now.
So I don't really have too big of an opinion on this, other than I'm a big Thug Rose fan. If I have a favorite female fighter in the UFC, it has to be Thug Rose. I always go back in my brain to the fight where she head kicked Zhang Wei Li and turned the world upside down, right? So for her to be now going down in this weight class, she's 1-1, fighting Tracy Cortez. She's on a 5-fight win streak in the UFC, 11 straight in total. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see where Rose has any issue here, though, is the problem, because she's not going to have a size disadvantage at all. I think she is better anywhere that the fight goes. And Cortez obviously doesn't train in Denver. Rose Namajunas does. There's the elevation factor, right? So I think all those things really play in Rose's corner. And I think if she wins this, it does set her up for like a number one contender fight with Macy Barber. I think that's the fight to make. But yeah, Rose Namajunas by any way she wants this weekend.
Very nice. All right. Rashad, you ready for
I'm
your
ready.
1 minute for UFC Denver this Saturday?
I am.
All right. Your 1 minute starts now.
Yeah. Rose, I feel the same way about her as I feel about John Jones. You know, I couldn't imagine myself counting her out. You know, I feel like a lot of people do, especially when they like to bring up size and stuff, you know, just like for her frame and such. But, you know, she be piecing the bigger women up all the time, you know, kind of consistently. She's kind of the smaller person in the ring. So if anything, that's her comfort zone. And I agree. Any way she wants to, any round she wants to, you know. I am happy to see it though. And I would like to just, I don't know. I feel like last time I actually watched her fight, I feel like she was a little gun shy. Not necessarily last time, but you know, she didn't seem herself like firing off. And I feel like that's important for her game, you know, getting in their face, occupying that space. So if she shows up in proper form, I think she could do whatever she wants to. Against Liz in the ring, specifically, you know, with this fight.
I think that's the hard part with Rose, though, is like, is she gonna show up? Whenever she was in that like year of I'm the champ, like chanting that kind of stuff, man, like she was locked in fully, and then she loses, and then now it's like a guessing game every time, right? So it's like, yeah, I wonder if she's planning on showing up Saturday. I hope so. I like her at this new weight class, though. She was too small for the other one.
Yeah, I think so too.
So the fifth topic on the board, Rashad, is literally just for you. I have nothing to say in this. I just want to hear your piece. Mount Rushmore. It's got 4 heads on it. So I need to know who your greatest of all time UFC fighters are. Your top 4. List them out.
I don't know if they're the greatest. I'll just say, yeah, like my personal favorites, right? Specifically, Wonder Boy. I love Wonder Boy to death. Yoel Romero, just for the mindset. GSP. And Dominic Cruz, maybe, man. I love his footwork. It's crazy, man.
What's crazy? What's crazy is I've never heard Wonder Boy, Yoel Romero, or Dominic Cruz whenever I hear Mount Rushmore. So I'm like mind blown over here, spinning in my chair while you're talking. Interesting. Okay. Most of those guys have like karate background kind of styles, I feel like. Is that what kind of makes you move towards them?
Yeah, specifically Wonder Boy. I watch a lot of his just like his fights, just how he merges his karate to MMA, understanding what he has to lose from that in order to be an MMA fighter and not just like a karateka. But at the same time, I wanted to kind of mix it up, and because that answer is susceptible to change to me depending on what training I'm going through at the moment. But I wanted to kind of mix it up for every bit of myself. I think I get the mindset a lot from Yoel Romero in terms of how I like to fight, while keeping the movement and stuff from Dominic Cruz, and the karate translation from Wonder Boy, and GSP just the GOAT. I just love GSP. So,
fair enough.
He'll always make any list I have.
Well, Rashad, I'm going to give the floor to you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to be on with us today. I can't wait to see what pro Rashad looks like next. We're done with amateur Rashad. We're throwing him out the window. It's time to make some money, baby. But
yeah,
hey, man, if you want to give any shout-outs or anything like that, the floor is yours, brother.
Shout out to all my teammates that are fighting this Saturday. I'll be there watching. Can't wait to see it. Shout out to Dedrick and Zach fighting for PFL. We got Logan Woods. He's fighting Friday. And so just big shout out to the team. My buddy Procuro LLC, he helped me out with my camp this past fight. So I told him I'd give him a shout out. And shout out to Knuckle Sandwich Podcast, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate y'all. Especially not just for having me on, but as much as you do for the team, you really get our names out there, which we're happy to have the camaraderie with you. So thank you.
Man, well, I appreciate Nashville MMA more than you guys could ever know. Being able to come out there pretty much any time and interview all these guys. I mean, and like you said, you guys are like on another level compared to a lot of gyms in the region when it comes to talent. Like you said, you got PFL guys, you got guys fighting on Fury FC. And then even Aries is just like this breeding ground for guys like you and like Bryce and like Finn and Stewie and everybody, right? So I'm appreciative of Dustin and the crew and all you guys for letting me come down always. If you want to follow Rashad and follow along with his MMA journey to the UFC, PFL, wherever he ends up going, follow him on Instagram, all.hail, HAIL.shad. Right? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. That's perfect. Yeah.
Let's go. He's going to get more active on social media just because I said that. So
for sure.
Don't worry.
Also, real quick, shout out to my buddy Adam for letting me use his setup for the podcast, because I am computer illiterate. And shout out to my lady back at home. I love you.
There you go. Well, brother, I appreciate you taking the time tonight. And, man, I can't wait to see what's next for you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.
Absolutely.
Take it easy.